All right, so it's day 3. I took yesterday off to do some other things on another vehicle for the wife. But anyway, back at it with the rear ends and the whole Chargum build on this 2005 Dodge Magnum that I'm currently working on swapping everything to. This is like part 4. I told you guys I'd make a video once the rear ends were completely swapped from one vehicle to another, so here we are. Saturday afternoon, early evening, I think I got the Charger rear end off a 15 Charger put onto the Magnum, bolted up, brakes, all that stuff. And now I just got done putting the Magnum rear end on the 2015 Dodge Charger. Yeah, this is the Charger. Reason that it looks like that right now is simply because I didn't put any springs or shocks back on it, which I'm kind of regretting because now my jack's stuck underneath the car. Anyway, here's the 2015 Dodge Charger rear end, currently on the Magnum now. If you don't have a lift, it is so much easier to take the bumper off, so you have better access to removing the whole entire rear end without taking the tires off, especially if you're working on dirt, which I am right now. I would take it to my shop and change it all, but I have other vehicles for customers that are in there, so that gets to sit in the back basically. But anyway, they bolt up, like I said, exactly the same. It is in there, bolts up to the exact same holes, the 4 bolts. Brake lines are identical. So that's all installed. Obviously I didn't put brake lines on the Charger because it's a roller, who gives a crap. But this one, it's done. The shocks, the springs, the rear end, the brakes, the whole 9 from the 15 Charger are currently on the Magnum, and it bolted all up. Brake lines, shocks, springs, all of that from a 15 down to an 05. A 10-year difference, different body styles, the whole 9, same exact thing. Nothing changes when it comes to that, I'm telling you. This is just a 15. You could literally take a 2025 Charger, Challenger, Chrysler 300, doesn't matter. Any of those vehicles, and you can put them on a Magnum. You can put them on a Charger. You can put them on a 300. It doesn't matter. 05 to 2025, 20 years that they made these things. 20 years that they've been making these, okay? And 20 years, they have not changed the basics. The subframes may look a little bit different, especially the front ones. Like I think in 14 they started switching some of those over to electronic power steering, so they might have a little bit of a difference with like the power steering rack and pinion, or even the engine mounts. How they mount could be a little different, but the actual like framing of the rear and front subframe are the exact same. They all bolt the exact same. Which even funnier is, this Charger I got here is an ex-police cruiser. When they made the ex-police cruisers, or when they made them, they weren't ex-police cruisers, they were, cruiser at the time. When they made them, they did a couple of different things from your garden variety, actual civilian vehicles. One of them, obviously, they didn't put the 8-speed automatic transmissions in these 15s. They put the same exact transmission that is in an 05 Dodge Magnum RT. It's the NAG 1 5-speed automatic transmission. So that's, like I said, that's what's saving me without having to buy a drive shaft for that specific reason, because it's already got a NAG 1 transmission in it. So I can take that back coupler piece that bolts into the output shaft, and I can put that on my transmission in my my blue Magnum that I'm going to end up swapping over to this red one. But aside from that, literally, I'm already going to do this because the front subframe that's on my blue cars is not the best. It was like that before I even got it. It's dented. I didn't really like the way it looked. So I'm actually going to be taking this Charger front subframe and I'm going to put it on this Magnum. But the only thing I need to change is going to be the motor mounts. I just need to take the motor mounts off the engine that's currently on that and use those on my 6.1. Straight swap over. It's the exact same setup. You got to understand, aside from the VVT crap that they ended up coming out with, and I think it was 2012, on these 5.7s, these 6.4s, and stuff like that, aside from the VVT setup on it, the basic setup of the block, the crank, the pistons, all of that is pretty much identical no matter what year it is, literally. It doesn't really matter. That's why you see a lot of people who want to upgrade and do some performance stuff to their 5.7s. They'll get like a 6.1 crank because it's forged. They'll do, you know, rods, so on and so forth. I've even seen some people take 392 crankshafts and put them into an 05, 06 style 5.7. It can be done. Yes, you have to do a little bit of modification to the block, but it's the same basic principle, okay? The engines, the transmissions, the subframes, hell, the brakes, man. You know how many people do Brembo brake swaps? They take 2024 or 2022 Hellcat brakes and they put them on an 05 or an 06 Magnum or Charger or 300 because it's all the same. That's the best part about what the setup that we have or what we do. It's just, it makes it so much easier to do some custom upgrades to your stuff. You know, it's just like the front ends. Like with this Charger front end that I'm going to be putting on there, the only difference literally is certain mounting spots of the fenders. That's why you have to get customized fenders made, and that's for two reasons. One, because you need the body lines to match up from the Magnum all the way around to the new Charger fender. But the other thing is because on the newer style Charger, I'll kind of show you. On the newer style Charger, they have a, get that out of the way there. They have a bolt spot right there for the fender. And then they don't have anything right here, but then they have this one right here. Magnums have one here, and then they have one up here, and then I think like two down here, and that's what holds it in place. So that's what the difference on the fender is. And I just realized that I left that out there. Anyway, but the radiator support, headlights, literally all you have to do is take the upper radiator support off of the Charger, and it'll bolt up the exact same on an 05 Magnum, Charger, 300. It doesn't matter. It'll bolt up the exact same. It doesn't change. And then you could literally put your front headlights on, your front bumper, and then the hood. The hood is the only thing you have to do a slight modification to when it comes to aside from the fenders. So this is where your hood, your swivels, your springs, or whatever the hell you want to call them, right here. That's how those bolt up right here. On the Magnum, it sits a little bit lower, and it doesn't have this bracket hole right here. So you just come through and you cut that little section out on the Magnum, and then your springs and stuff like that will fit just like they do on the Charger onto the Magnum. It takes, I don't know, if you know how to use a grinder, it'd take you 10 minutes to cut those off and slap the new ones on. It's stupid simple, okay? So this is where I'm at. This is this video right now. It's gonna be kind of shorter because there really isn't much. I mean, you guys seen, I literally swapped the rear ends from the old one to the new one to the old one. So now technically this Charger has an all-wheel drive rear subframe and differential. And the other way, this Magnum, which used to be all-wheel drive, now has a rear-wheel drive brain farting here, rear subframe and differential on it from the Charger, basically. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, guys, is after I figure out how the hell to get my damn jack out from underneath this thing, I'm going to be lifting up the front end, and then I'm going to make a video once I get that taken care of, just to kind of show you guys all the things that you need to take in order to get the front subframe off. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to take it all, okay? We're literally going to take the upper control arms, the struts, brakes, the whole nine. And basically, in the condition that it's in right now, all the wiring and tubing and all that shit's been fried from the fire. So I don't have to go through and disconnect any of that stuff on this one. And vice versa, the Magnum doesn't have an engine wiring harness or any of the hoses anymore because it was a bare shell. So it's the same thing with that one. All I have to do is unbolt the upper control arms, undo the brake lines, and then literally unbolt the subframe. I'm going to leave the transmission connected, unbolt the subframe, and unbolt the tranny mount, and the whole thing should come right out to the bottom. And then all I have to do is literally, since the wheels are still on it, just pull it out from underneath, which is exactly how I did the rear end. Same thing on the Magnum. Once I get the Magnum subframe dropped, I'm literally just going to wheel that whole subframe, bring it over here to the Charger, and set the Charger on top of that subframe, and then just bolt it right back in place. So I will make another video once I get to that point. Once I get this one dropped, I'll show you what it looks like and everything like that, and then we'll go from there. So, but like I said, keep an eye out, keep watching for these videos. If they have helped you in any way, shape, or form with any questions that you guys have had on your own personal build, if you're doing something similar to I am, or just in general, if it helped you kind of understand a little bit better to something that you might want to do in the future, then go ahead and give me a like, subscribe, follow, whatever the case may be. You can check my business page out on Facebook, Kramer's Auto Repair, or, you know, the YouTube video that I make, or the YouTube channel that I have, which is also Kramer's Auto Repair. So if you got any questions, guys, feel free to comment, or if you go on my business page, feel free to shoot me a message on my business page. I will do my best to try to answer any questions. And on top of that, if you're looking to do something like this, but you don't want to do the work yourself, or if you're just not confident enough, so you want to have somebody else do it, hit me up. Let me know. We can work something out and figure things out. I can set time aside, and yes, I would bring your vehicle into the shop. The only reason I'm not doing it is because, like I said, this is my own personal setup, so I don't want to drown out my shop full of stuff when it comes to my own personal stuff versus having customers' vehicles and everything like that, because there's, like I said, unfortunately, customers' vehicles always take precedence over my own stuff. This is just a side project that I'm working on while I have it at home. So anyway, guys, till the next time.